Saints Row is a really interesting game. Talking about the one that came out in 2006, not the reboot. It's one of the first games I bought with my first Xbox 360 back in the day. I had the original model, the white one that didn't even come with the HDMI port. That one got the red ring. I've gone through like four Xbox 360s over the years and I'm on my fifth. But I digress. Let's talk about Saints Row. Saints Row was often called a GTA clone back in the day, but it started with something that no GTA game had up to that point: character creation. You can customize everything about your character with sliders for all kinds of various facial features, body types, different hair and facial hair, just about everything. It's not quite as robust as, say, Oblivion's character creator, for example, but it's still pretty good, even though there's no female option for characters in this game. Once you've got your character looking the way you want them, you get a cutscene setting up your character and the gangs in the city.
Hector says buenas noches.
Your character gets inducted into the 3rd Street Saints, an up-and-coming street gang led by Julius, voiced by the one and only Keith David, with the goal of taking out every other gang in the city of Stillwater. Like I said before, this game got called a GTA clone a lot when it came out, and yeah, that pretty much fits the bill. But it was nice that just for a while, GTA had a legit competitor. This game came out 2 years before GTA 4 did, and I still remember thinking at the time that it did everything San Andreas did, but better. It really was like a next evolution in the GTA formula, and it really didn't need to be anything more than that. The protagonist in the game, called the Playa, even takes a page from Claude's books and doesn't even speak except for a line at the end of each gang's storyline and one in the final mission. Every other character speaks plenty, though, and this voice cast is pretty stacked. You got Keith David, Michael Rappaport, Daniel Day Kim, Tia Carrera, Mila Kunis, Michael Clark Duncan, and Clancy Brown being some of the bigger names on the list. The story, or really stories, as each gang has their own storyline as you work to take them down, don't take themselves very seriously. And even though they're all passable, I wouldn't exactly call them great, although there are some interesting twists and turns here and there. Outside of the story missions, there are activities you can do, and you have to do them to earn respect. Things like clothes, jewelry, and tattoos can give you a bonus to all the respect earned, and if you get enough respect, you can get another respect level, which you need to do a mission. Every time you start a mission, one respect level gets deducted from your current total. There are 3 instances of most activities, with 8 levels for each instance. The exceptions are Snatch, which has a 4th instance with only 2 levels, which serves as the tutorial for how activities work, and Demolition Derby, which still has 8 levels, but only 1 instance. Completing the last level of an activity in a given instance gives you unique rewards, like a unique car or a specific homie you can call for backup whenever you need to. More on homies later. Finishing every level of every instance of a given activity grants even more rewards, but this is pretty difficult to do because the activities usually spike heavily in difficulty after level 4. There's also no retry option if you fail, even though there's a retry option for missions, so not having one for activities absolutely makes 0 sense to me. And they can just get really frustrating. Luckily, completing all of the activities is entirely optional. You really just need to do enough so that you can get through all the game's missions. But let's break down the activities. Demolition Derby is exactly what it says it is. You have to wreck a number of other cars before time runs out. It's probably the easiest activity in the game. Racing is also pretty straightforward. There are 3 types of races: checkpoint races, lap races, and point-to-point races. Your competition's cars are often in the same class as whatever car you're using, so it's usually pretty fair, though the game's physics can fuck you on some of the later levels, and traffic has no spatial awareness and will run into you just because they can, so that's fun, I guess. Snatch has you picking up girls from abusive pimps and returning them to another pimp who, in all honesty, is probably just as abusive. These are timed, and you do get gang notoriety for doing these, so you definitely want a sturdy vehicle. Insurance fraud is one of my favorites. You just have to throw yourself into oncoming traffic and score enough points before the time runs out. It's a bit RNG dependent, as sometimes the game just won't spawn enough vehicles for you to throw yourself in front of, and the scoring area will periodically move, sometimes right before you're about to take a hit, so it can screw you out of points that way. But it's still a lot of fun. Mayhem is also a lot of fun, but it's also pretty RNG dependent. It's another one where you have to score enough points before the time runs out, this time by destroying everything possible within a given neighborhood. People, objects, vehicles, doesn't matter, destroy it all. The RNG comes in with the weapons you're given and the types of bonuses you can get. Types of bonuses are usually given for destroying certain types of cars or using certain types of weapons. Sometimes you'll get an SMG or a shotgun or a rifle with infinite ammo for that level, but those kinds of weapons are crap for destroying objects. It's easiest when the game decides to give you a rocket launcher, and even easier when it gives you a rocket launcher with a bonus for using it. Then there's drug trafficking, in which you're riding shotgun along an NPC driver, and your goal is to protect them while they drive around and make their deals. You'll get increasing amounts of gang notoriety and police notoriety for this, so the challenge lies in not getting the car blown up. Luckily, you don't actually have to stay in the car, and depending on where you are, you can usually run to a forgive and forget, which is pretty much this game's version of GTA's pay and spray, to get rid of any notoriety, at least until the next deal is made. It can get rough, but each level does give you an assortment of weapons and always some kind of pistol with infinite ammo. Escort missions in games usually suck, and the escort activity in this game isn't much different. You have to drive around a hooker and her client and avoid news vans. Your goal is to get the pleasure meter to fill up before the footage meter fills up. It sounds simple enough, and in the early levels it is, but eventually the clients start wanting you to do things like get a certain amount of airtime, or do a certain amount of damage to another car, or much more annoyingly, drive to a random location that could very well be clear across the map. The pleasure meter will stop increasing entirely until the secondary objective is done, giving the news vans plenty of opportunity for footage. I kinda hate this one. Hijacking is much simpler. Steal a specific vehicle, bring it back before time runs out. The vehicle is always on the move, so you either have to do enough damage to it or kill the driver to get it, which usually isn't too much trouble. The trouble comes with the notoriety you get for stealing the vehicle, which can make things pretty rough on the return trip. As much as I dislike escort, my least favorite activities are Hitman and Chop Shop. They're both basically the same thing. Hitman has you tracking down a specific NPC character model and killing them with a specific weapon, and Chop Shop has you hunting down a specific vehicle model and bringing it to a location. The thing with these is they're entirely RNG dependent. Success depends entirely on whether or not the game feels like spawning that model. The game does give you a neighborhood that the model is most likely to be found in, but they won't always be found there. Thankfully, these aren't timed or really even structured like the other activities. You can do them whatever you want, even during other missions. Just add the NPC or car you're looking for to your HUD from the info menu, and if one spawns, it'll show up on your minimap. Just don't drive around an entire neighborhood looking for them, or you're likely to drive yourself crazy. There are other non-activity activities you can do as well that have no structure to them, but give you cash and respect all the same, like breaking into stores at night, breaking into their safe, then bringing their contents to a pawn shop, or robbing a store during the day for extra cash. Both of these things will lead to a store being closed for a while, so make sure it's not a place you need to go very often. If you steal a car with a passenger, you can also take that passenger hostage, driving at high speeds for a certain amount of time until they agree to pay you to let them go. This also gives you cash and respect. And then there's CDs you can find. There are 60 across the whole map, and every 10 you find unlocks a unique song that you can play in your in-game MP3 player. More on that later. Lastly, there are gang tags all across the map that you can spray over by following the button prompts for extra respect. You get rewards for getting all of them, but they're by no means mandatory, except for one stronghold mission for the Carnales storyline. They're essentially glorified collectibles. Combat in Saints Row is kinda so-so. It's serviceable, but it's really nothing to write home about. Guns sound and feel fine, some better than others, but I've never really been blown away by any of it. There are a number of each different type of weapon you can use, multiple types of melee weapon, multiple pistols, SMGs, shotguns, rifles, and so on. The only exception is the rocket launcher. There's only one of those. The problem really stems from third-person free aiming using the Xbox 360 control sticks, which really doesn't feel great. Aiming with any kind of controller is always going to have some problems, I think, and the game really could have benefited from some kind of lock-on system, which even the GTA games had on the PS2. There's also no shooting limbs off or anything like that, even with a sniper rifle, which again is something that even GTA did on the PS2. Even hitting someone with a rocket launcher is just going to set them on fire and make them ragdoll. It's fine, it's just not especially interesting. Ammo for your weapons is also pretty expensive, even on the cheaper end of things. Keeping yourself stocked is going to cost you. Lucky for you, depending on how many neighborhoods you control, you generate passive income at your safe house every in-game day, but even that's barely enough to afford all these wonderful toys. You can also carry up to 4 healing items with you in the form of fast food from a place called Freckle Bitches. Yeah, really. You can also use these slots for booze or weed. The booze, except for the 40, which does nothing for you except for fuzzy up your screen a bit, gives you a melee damage bonus, and the weed actually offers a little bit of damage resistance. Health also does regenerate on its own, but it's really slow to do so you're better off just keeping up stocked on food. You can use your phone to call for backup from homies you get from activity rewards, or you can just find any generic Saints gang member and press up on the D-pad to recruit them. You start by only being able to recruit one homie at a time, but as the game goes on, you eventually get up to 3. Each one has their own health meter, and if they die, you have 30 seconds to revive them by pouring out a 40 over them. You don't actually need a 40 in your inventory to do this. You can do it as many times as you need to. I think it would have been much more frustrating if you needed to have a 40 on hand, so thank you to what used to be Volition for not doing that. You can also use your phone for more entertaining things. Throughout the world, you'll find phone numbers for businesses that exist in Stillwater, and you can call those numbers to listen to funny answering machine messages. A little like the collectibles in the darkness, but they don't unlock anything. They're just fun to listen to.
Thanks for calling your local Lick-a-Chick Chicken, home of the Fuck-It Bucket. We're too busy frying up the tastiest chicken parts around to take your call right now, but feel free to come on in and order up a meal. And all this week, don't forget about the Family Fuck-It Special. That's 2 Fuck-It Buckets, 2 big-ass biscuits, and a 2-liter bottle of Chunky Cola, all for just $12. Why, that's a Fuck-It Bucket deal for the whole chick-licking family. Hope to see you all in here soon. Oh, and leave a message.
You also get an MP3 player in the game, which you can use if you don't feel like listening to any of the game's radio stations, and you can even use it outside of your car. You have to go to any of the game's record stores scattered across the map to buy the tracks, but you can customize your playlist this way. And the game has some pretty great music across a number of genres. Pretty much whatever you're into, this game probably has. All of it's copyrighted and licensed, though, so unfortunately, I can't play any of it here. The in-game radio will play commercials that advertise the stores you can go in the game, and it'll also tell you when those stores have sales. Yeah, the stores will sometimes have 15% or 30% off sales, so you can save a bunch of money if you keep your ear out for those. If you miss them on the radio, the sales will be marked on that store's location on the map, too. The radio also sometimes plays news reports that reflect on things that are actually happening in the story, which I think is really neat. There is a weird glitch with the audio sometimes, though. Sometimes dialogue between 2 NPCs will overlap. Sometimes the radio will cut out and repeat itself, or the DJ will announce one song but play another one entirely. None of this is game-breaking in any way, but it is noticeable when it comes up. The bulk of the game has you going through 3 separate storylines in whatever order you want, even mixing and matching if you want, with most missions in a given storyline taking over a neighborhood for the 3rd Street Saints. There are the story missions and the stronghold missions. Stronghold missions are pretty simple, usually something like going to a specific area, killing every gang member there, or destroying all the gang cars there, although there are some variations here and there. Story missions are pretty varied and usually kept interesting enough, but the map is pretty big and getting from point A to point B isn't terribly exciting. To mitigate this, there are L train stations scattered around where you can basically fast travel from point to point, which is a really nice feature. Once in a while, if you're not actively on a mission or activity, you'll get a call saying that a gang is trying to reclaim one of their neighborhoods. So I have to drop whatever it is you're doing, go to that neighborhood, then kill all the gang lieutenants to get your neighborhood back. It can be annoying if you're just about to start something and suddenly get a call, but you do get respect out of it, so it's not all bad. Once you finish a gang storyline and hear what the player has to say, you get a bunch of neat rewards in a new safe house. Safe houses primarily act as save points, but you can also get a limited supply of ammo from them, as well as money from neighborhoods you own, and a place to change your clothes if you want to. Strongholds to take over also act as save points, but even outside of those, you can save anytime you want from the pause menu, and you should save often because there's no autosave of any kind in this game. If you just finished an entire section and then turned the game off but didn't save, guess what? You didn't finish an entire section. All that progress is gone. This was an Xbox 360 exclusive, so if you're looking to play it on PC, you're out of luck. But I'm pretty sure you can also run it on a modern Xbox console. I don't have one, so I don't actually know, but I don't see why not. As far as emulation goes, I've never been able to get it to work right, and I don't know of anyone who has, so don't bother. I would love to see this game get remastered and brought to PC, but with Volition gone entirely, fuck you, Embracer. Who knows if that'll ever happen. Even if Volition were still with us, the idea would still be highly unlikely, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's it. That's the Saints Row video. This one took a long time to make. Obviously, no camera for this one because reasons. I'm not going to go into why. But I think I'm going to put up a poll with a few options for the next video. Maybe Saints Row 2 will be on that poll, but that'll be another one that'll take a while to make. It'll be up in the post tab or community tab or whatever they call it now. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to join the Discord where we talk about physical media and generally about movies, music, games, and other cool things, and watch as I record footage for these videos, the link will be down in the thing. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube engagement stuff. See ya!